Okay, so 47 is how did you feel casting your first circle? Silly, scared, stumbling, etc. Um, for me, before I joined the coven, I was very anal pretty much about how I did ritual. Everything had to be done exactly the way I wrote it. Everything had to be done exactly word for word. And so going into my first spell, I was pretty nervous. Um, I was like, shoot, if I say something wrong, if I don't say anything, if I leave something out, like it's gonna go wrong and it's not gonna work. And that's pretty much how I was. And so yeah, my first ritual spell was very anxious and nervous. But yeah, that was pretty much that. 48 is what was your first successful spell? Hmm, I probably want to say a protection spell. I don't really remember. Either that or like a simple prosperity spell. Number 49 is what is your general practice for meditation? For me, it's quieting my mind, going to a place of no mind, which is pretty much what I call it. Um, and then I go to a space that I go to every time I meditate. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't always use music, but if I do, it's definitely like the Native American drum, shaman, flute kind of music. That definitely helps, but it's not necessary. Number 50 is are you a day walker or a night comer? Um, I'm a little bit of both. However, I work overnight, so I'm up all night. So I guess I'm a night comer, but I have no objection to being out in the day. Like I actually enjoy it. But yeah, right now it just doesn't always work with my schedule. Number 51 is how and when did you know you wanted to be on this path? Um, for me, I was probably about 14, almost 15 when I knew for sure. I found Wicca at 13, and I just immersed myself with reading and studying and researching and everything I could. And I thought after the first book I read, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. But I wasn't entirely sure until I did a lot of research and study. Um, that I finally realized like this was for me. It went back to being younger too. As a kid, some of the things that I would do and say. At the time, I didn't realize what I was doing, but thinking back on it with what I had learned from reading and researching, I was like, this is for me, and I've known ever since then. Uh, 52 is what type of pagan are you? Wiccan, eclectic, hedge, etc. Um, I started out Wiccan, and it's still pretty much a pillar of my foundation. But I definitely feel more eclectic. Like I claim the title of witch now, and that's it. Is like hmm, I don't label myself really. Like I'll take stuff from anywhere and use it as long as it works. So number 53 is what color candle do you use the most? White. Um, since I don't use a lot of supplies, the candles that I do have are simply white. Since it can be used for anything, I'll just use that. Um, but yeah, white. 54 is what area would you like to see your craft grow in? Um, don't really have a direct answer for that. I do know that I would definitely like to expand on the potential and with time to be a high priest and to have my own coven and really put myself out in the community and see where it goes. Maybe eventually even write a book or two, something like that. But yeah, number 55 is what is your preference to buy or to make tools? For me, I definitely have kind of a I guess, a need for things to look a certain way. I guess when it comes to my tools, and so for me, I definitely like to buy my tools, just because I know that I can get something that visually looks nice. I'm not opposed to making my own tools either, um, but I'm not that crafty. So for me, I definitely prefer to buy them. But yeah, that's just me. So 56 is, what fictional witch book or screen inspired you the most? I don't really have one. I actually love all things witchy though, like Hocus Pocus, Practical Magic, The Craft, American Horror Story, Coven, Salem, you name it, Charmed. I'm into it, like I like it, but none of them inspired me really. Number 57 is, was your first spell done alone or in a coven? And it was done alone. I didn't join a coven until after 9 years of practice. So yeah. 58 is, what is your favorite candle, incense, or scent for magical purpose? I definitely love frankincense, sandalwood, dragon's blood, lavender. Um, I wasn't big on patchouli, but as I say, there's a shop, Natural Magic, here in town, um, and the owner actually makes her oil very according to the astrological sign and stuff. So her oils and potions and things have a lot of potency to them. But she makes a patchouli oil that I actually love. And so that is probably one of my favorite scents at the moment. Um, but only hers. I even have a patchouli incense that I found at actually that Five Below store. Those smell really good too. But her oil is pretty much probably the only patchouli that I actually truly like. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. Um, Number 59 is, where is your favorite place to go to reconnect with nature? Probably my parents' property, just because it's out in the country. It's where I grew up. It's where I connect the most. But as long as I'm in the, like, I can go to a park and connect, go hiking, something like that. Like, I'm fine. But definitely my parents' property. Number 60 is, do you believe in fantasy creatures such as unicorns, gnomes, elves, fairies, etc.? And I'm gonna say yes. Um, do I believe that they were ever once physical beings? Probably not. I know some people say that they used to be. I know some people say that these don't exist. It's whatever. I feel that they do on some level. And so yeah. Number 61 is, do you believe in ghosts and spirits? And yes, I do. I've had interactions with them when I was a little kid. I would be, I guess, interacting with um, an uncle who had passed away many years before, which is actually the cousin that my mom practiced with. It was his dad, um, and my mom's father, who died when she was a teenager too. So both of them, I would actually have interactions with um, when I was little, and my family members would be like, "Who are you talking to?" And I would name them, and they'd be like, "What?" And they would ask me to describe them. And so, yeah, I do believe in that. Number 62 is, would you ever teach the craft? And the answer is yeah. I do so in the coven now. Not all the time, but there's some times where she'll ask me to teach, and so I help out teaching. But yeah, I would definitely teach eventually at some point. Number 63 is, what, if any, legal herb do you use for moods? The only one that I really like to use is lavender. It's very calming. Other than that, like, no. Number 64 is, what is the most recent spell or ritual you've done? Saturday was Lunasaw, so the coven, we did a little simple Lunathal ritual. Um, Cast a circle called the quarters. We actually do the quarters usually in Gaelic. And so, yeah, we called upon Lou and Bridget as the deities for that circle. Then we had a meditation kind of working, sort of. Um, and then we reversed it all and we were done. Um, so, yeah. 65 is, do you have a happy place you go to during meditation? And that's yes. Um, I've gone to the same place probably since I've been 16, 17 years old. One time I was meditating and I was going somewhere and I kind of stumbled upon this place and my spirit guide was waiting for me. And ever since then, it's just been that's the place that I automatically go to. A lot of my workings that I do on a spiritual level anyway. I don't do physical working that much, mainly because I don't have any tools now. Which, like I said, I'll go into a video all about why and the way I make it work on an astral level. But that's where I go to meditate. That's where I go to do working. It just for me, that's the place. Um, Number 66 is what is your favorite witchy book? Um, I don't really have one. I I love. I'm not gonna like. It sounds weird. But I love every book. It either teaches you what you like or teaches you what you don't like. But yeah, I just anything Wiccan, pagan, occult, whatever. I'm totally into it. Number 67 is do you have a ritual to get ready before a ritual or spell? If so, what is it? And for me, it's definitely I typically, if I can, depending on the time, will definitely shower before. I will ground, center, meditate, focus my energies onto what I'm doing. Um, do a little connection with everything involved, and then go ahead and proceed. Mm, Number 68 is do you always use your own spells or do you tweak others? And I have no problem tweaking spells. If I find it and I like it, I'll definitely rework it to make it more suiting for me. And yeah, number 69 is do you prefer spells, rituals, inside or outside? Typically, I would like to say outside, but it just depends on the time that I have to do it. If I have to do it during the day and it's hot outside, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it in here. But if I can, I'll do them outside. Number 70 is if you were coming from a Christian Catholic background, did you find the transition hard with family and the whole going to hell thing? Basically, leaving all you'd been told was right. I didn't have an issue. Growing up, my father was Baptist. My mother, kind of Baptist. She wasn't extremely religious. Um, and so for me, I never truly, I guess, connected to the Christian religion. I enjoyed it when I was younger. Um, and as I started to get older, I was like, something just doesn't add up. I always have questions. And my grandmother was actually really religious. And that's the same one I mentioned earlier that had her little, I guess, phase within Wicca or whatever back in the day. Whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But she was extremely religious, and it was pretty much like you don't question, and when you would, she would just be like, "Why don't do that?" And so as I got older, I questioned it, but once I finally found Wicca and came out, um, my mother's side of the family was extremely open and accepting. I even have Mormons on that side of the family. No one's questioned. I mean, they do have questions, but it's not questions that um, are negative. Like they're genuinely interested in what I practice, what it is. They're interested. Um, my grandmother, about a year or so before she passed on, found out that I was actually a practicing Wiccan, and she had a little bit of a issue with it, but it was never anything that was extremely bad. Like it is what it is. She didn't improve, but she realized I was grown, so she couldn't do anything anyway. Um, Number 71 is what are your totem animals? That is probably a video or a question to make a video of its own, but definitely the bear again, the turtle, which sounds weird, and the eagle so far. Yeah. 72 is what are some things that you reuse after spell and ritual work? I'll reuse leftover wax, the stones and stuff, if there are any, I'll cleanse, concentrate, reuse. Um, that's pretty much it. But um, if I find something that is still usable and if I feel that I can reuse it, I will. Number 73 is who helped you the most when you started out on your path, and that would be my mom. She had no problem buying me books, tools, anything I needed. She would go buy it for me. She didn't care. So definitely her. 74 is do you know any good witchy phone apps? And no, I don't use anything on my phone. 75 is what is your favorite magical study? Other than tarot, because that's something that I'm trying to get back into using, would definitely be herbalism, just because it's so vast and there's so many things that you have to learn or need to learn. 76 is outside of your Facebook community, do you have a lot of witchy friends in the physical world? And yes, I do. For me, the pagan community here, I have connected with not a lot of people, but I do know quite a few people, and we actually do get along. And I do have a lot of witchy friends in my personal circle. And 77, which is the last question, is do you feel that the deities we work with are a force from one higher power and that all beliefs and religions are from the same one God or place? Um, yes, as far as deities on that. I feel that it is one energy source that we as individual people put faces to. I feel that it's more of like a universal consciousness that we, as groups, projected the same similar image of deities that we now see in modern times that our ancestors kind of created. As far as religion, they're man-made too. I feel that it started out like a very small group of people, one person, whatever, and it just spread word of mouth or through example or let me show you, whatever you want to call it. And that's how that started. So I do feel that in some way it's all related, especially since if you actually look at history of religions, it all started out pagan to begin with. And so yeah, that's how I feel on that. But yeah, this is the 77 witchy question community tag, and this is my take on it. So hopefully people enjoy it, and hopefully this will be, I guess, my starter to get back into YouTube and make videos again. So until next time, thanks. Bye.